Well, thank you for joining me today. My name is Marc Montini, and my company is the Montini and Company Tax Advisory Group. And for the next 10 to 15 minutes or so, we're going to talk about the importance of rolling your 401k into an IRA. Now, real briefly about us, we are a tax and retirement planning firm. We're kind of a one-stop shop for your planning needs. I am a licensed fiduciary, which means that any recommendations I make to my clients regarding financial planning, I have a legal obligation that those recommendations are being made in their best interest. I've been in financial services now for 28 years. And what we specialize in as a company is tax reduction strategies. Be it that we're both a tax and financial planning firm, we focus all of our attention on reducing or eliminating tax for our clients in retirement. We also do a lot of retirement income planning. Sometimes the idea of retiring could be a little bit scary. Well, when you have a written plan in place where you can see where your income is coming from, you know that it's sustainable and you know that it's being taken in the most tax efficient manner possible, that'll help alleviate a lot of the fears that you potentially could have. We also do assets under management. That's part of the financial planning side of things. And then we do tax returns. Our tax returns start at $175 and they go up very modestly from there, depending on the complexity of your return. So again, for the next 10 or 15 minutes, we're going to talk about rolling your 401k into an IRA. We're going to talk about some basics on qualified plans. What is qualified money? My love-hate relationship that I have with 401ks. We'll talk about why the age 59 and a half is so important. And then what investment options do you have once you do roll that 401k into an IRA? So qualified plans are money that have not been taxed yet. Okay, they grow tax deferred. The most common is going to be the 401k, but there's also 403bs and 457s if you're a federal or state employee. And then lastly, we have the traditional IRA. Now, my love relationship with 401ks is they help facilitate savings so incredibly well. So you can contribute up to $27,000 a year or $20,500 if you're under age 50, where with the traditional and Roth IRA, you can only contribute $7,000 a year or $6,000 if you're under age 50. Now, there are good things about 401ks. For example, if you retire or leave service as early as age 55, you can start taking distributions from those plans without any of the 10% early withdrawal penalties that the IRS typically would levy. There are loan provisions on certain plans, and then there's also some creditor protections that you may have while being in the 401k. You can also delay your required minimum distribution if you're still working. Now, these benefits aren't available on all plans, so you have to kind of look into your plan itself. Now, what is the issue that I have with 401ks? Well, number one, you have limited investment options. For the most part, most 401k plans only offer mutual funds. And mutual funds are problematic in two ways. Number one, they can be expensive. They have their own internal cost structure, which is called the expense ratio. If you want to know what that expense ratio is, just take the ticker symbol of the mutual fund that you're invested in, put it into Google, and Google will tell you exactly what that expense ratio is. Now, more worrisome than that is that they can be very restrictive on the mutual fund manager. So let's say, for example, the mutual fund you're invested in at the 401k is a large cap value mutual fund. Okay, well, that sounds good. 2017 large cap value did very, very well. Well, then the economic cycle shifted. And in 2018, large cap growth had a very, very big year, where large cap value did not have such a good year. So the problem is that mutual fund manager must adhere to the written description of that mutual fund. So if it is large cap value, they can only invest in large cap value stocks. Regardless of what the economic cycle is dictating, they should be invested in. Now, there are some plans that offer a little more investment options, such as index funds. But again, for the most part, our investment options are limited to mutual funds. Now, the real problem in my mind with 401ks is we're not getting any guidance. Nobody is telling us that we're experiencing some stock market volatility, and maybe we should get out and get into other investment vehicles that may fare better while the stock market is being volatile. But with the 401k, nobody's giving us that. Nobody is giving us that management and the advice that says how we should be invested based on the economy. So that's where we go to an IRA. Okay, and within the IRA, we have an endless amount of investment options. You can buy individual stocks. You can buy ETFs, which are like mutual funds, just a lot cheaper. You can buy an annuity. You can buy anything, virtually anything you want within the scope of that IRA. Now, our solution is if you are over age 59 and a half, okay, you can roll the balance of your 401k into an IRA as an in-service distribution. Now, as long as we go from one custodian to another custodian, this is a tax-free exchange. So you can roll the balance out of that 401k with no penalties and no tax. Again, there are some plans that are going to be a little bit more restrictive that may not allow this to occur, but it's really, really rare to find companies that won't allow you to do this once you've attained age 59 and a half. Now, the nice thing is this will not end your 401k. All we've done is we've swiped the balance down to zero, rolled it into a traditional IRA, but your 401k still exists. So your contributions still go in, and your matching, if you get matching, will also still go in. So that balance will then grow back up again. When it gets to a certain point, we're going to do it again. Now, regarding your previous employer, typically we do not advise to leave a 401k behind. Now, there are some instances where it may make sense. Again, if you retire early, as early as age 55, it may make sense to keep it there. But generally, for the most part, we want to get that 401k into an IRA, again, which can give us more investment options. We can get professional management on it. We can get somebody watching that money and making tactical moves to best reflect what's going on in the current economy. Now, how do we initiate this rollover? For the most part, most plan administrators of 401ks will initiate the withdrawal based on a phone call. But we've got to be very, very cautious on the words that we use when we're making this distribution request. We want to make sure that when they do send you a check, which they for the most part will, but that check is made out to the new custodian for the benefit of you. Okay, and if we do that, then there are no mandatory withholdings. There are no taxes to be paid. It's a tax-free exchange from one custodian to another. But again, we've got to use the right language with the 401k. Otherwise, we could have a taxable event occur, which we don't need to do. But don't do this on your own. Work with a fiduciary like me, somebody that's here to help you, and we will make sure that that distribution is requested the correct way, so there are no tax implications, and we can get that money invested based on what your risk tolerances truly dictate we should be doing. So now that we have rolled the 401k into an IRA, what investment options do we have? Well, the first option is a managed portfolio. And again, this is where we are using tactical money management. Tactical money management is action. Tactical is somebody watching your money on a daily, weekly, monthly basis and adjusting the holdings that you were invested in based on the economic cycle that we are in. If we don't like where the stock market is going, if we're seeing too much volatility, then we simply don't invest in stocks. But somebody's watching, somebody's making these action moves to best reflect what's going on in the economy. The other benefit with a managed portfolio is we have easy access to the funds. These are very liquid accounts where if you decide to make a change, if you need money for a new vehicle, if you want to upgrade your kitchen, you can access that money for the most part without any penalties or fees. So easy access to managed accounts. Another option to consider is what's called a fixed indexed annuity. What a fixed index annuity is a contract between you and an insurance company. And what the insurance company is going to do is they're going to guarantee you against stock market losses. So we can't lose any money because of the stock market within an annuity. The downfall of using an annuity is they're not as liquid as a managed account would be. Typically, most annuities are only going to allow you to take 10% out each year without penalty. So for us, we're going to look at it, and we understand that we appreciate the liquidity that a managed account offers, but we also appreciate the guarantees that we can get out of a fixed indexed annuity. So we have to find balance between those two worlds. We need liquidity, but we also want some level of protection. Typically, when we're building a plan for our clients, we're going to reduce risk in layers. So the first layer being the annuity, where we have zero risk. The next layer may be in a managed account where the portfolio manager is going to work to that we don't lose any more than 10% during a significant market correction. So no risk for some of the money, 10% risk for some of the money, and then we can diversify further to other portfolio management who may have their own ways of mitigating against stock market losses. So again, find balance between guarantees and liquidity. As an illustration of why it's so important to have somebody watching, what this chart is showing us here is by asset class, what asset classes have performed the best over the years. So the best performers are up here at the top, where the worst performers are at the bottom. Now, again, to illustrate how important it is that we have somebody watching, somebody adjusting the holdings based on the economy. Let's look here at 2017. Here we have emerging markets at the top of the class here. The emerging markets had a great year in 2017. In 2018, right, it was the worst performing asset class. So we want professional management, somebody watching, so that we are being as responsive as possible to what's occurring during this immediate economy. Now, another thing that you may want to consider is once we roll that 401k into an IRA, we take it a step further and look at does converting from that traditional IRA, converting it into a Roth IRA. Basically, what we're doing in this is we're paying our taxes now so that all the growth and distributions that we take out in the future all come out tax-free. We think about this because where are taxes going? We know that the Tax and Job Act of 2017 did its job. We are all paying less tax than we were prior to that Congress passing that law. So where are taxes potentially going? Well, we know we're $30 trillion in debt. We know that we're at near historic lows on tax rates today. In my mind, I think there's a very real possibility that taxes are going to be increasing in the future. So if we can take advantage while taxes are on sale today, that may help you in the future. Now, the other thing is you cannot convert from a 401k into a Roth IRA. You can only convert from a traditional IRA into a Roth IRA. So again, yet another reason why we want to get that money out of that 401k, get it rolled tax-free into a traditional IRA, get more investment options, and now we have more opportunity to better enhance what your taxes are going to look like in the future. I do have a shortened Roth conversion mini webinar that I'd be happy to share with you as well, so you can see what the benefits could be by converting into that Roth IRA. So where do we go from here? Well, keep your education going. If you enjoyed this content, if you learned something from this brief little webinar, join my full 1 hour webinar that we hold every Thursday night at 6 p.m. It's a virtual event, and you can register. You do need to register for that class, and you could register at phoenixsocialsecurityclass.com. That is phoenixsocialsecurityclass.com. If you've enjoyed this, if you learned something, share this with your friends and family. Retirement's a lot more fun when you can do it with friends and family. And with that, thank you very, very much.